Creating an elaborate drag number from start to finish, part 19.
We are hopping right back into Cubase to continue working on the opening of our drag number track.
I ran into some difficulties yesterday trying to figure out how to film the work that I was doing, and I think what I'm going to try today is do a bunch of work and then kind of check in with you guys afterwards and explain what I have done. We're going to try that one out today.
This is what we're starting the day with. As I mentioned yesterday, this sounds like shit, but we are going to work on it a lot. A quick disclaimer, it will never sound as good as the original track because the original track was live performers, and this is mimicking live performance. And we can tweak this till the cows come home, but it will never sound as good as a live performance. That's just the nature of the beast. It'll always sound at least a little bit like shit, but we're gonna make this the most beautiful, amazing shit ever. So off we go. And about an hour and 50 minutes later, I am done for the day. And here's what we have now. So I spent the vast majority of my day working on the brass. I fell into the old trap of trying to do too much too quickly, and I had to reel that back in after a good half hour, 45 minutes of going down that road. Like, each one of these libraries has different sound sleeves. You have the classic sound, and then you have the epic sound, which changes the mic position, changes a whole bunch of things. So I started messing with that off the bat, and that was a mistake. You know, when you have too many options and you try to tackle them all at once, you end up just doing nothing, choosing none of them. So I reeled it back in, and once I did that, I went back in and I started editing the MIDI of each of these tracks. I spent most of my time on trumpet. Tried to offset the attacks a little bit because I had it all lined up perfectly with the grid, and humans don't play that way. So I messed with that a lot. Did that with all of the different tracks. Went into each of the MIDI tracks and played with the velocity to try to make it sound as human-like as possible. The trombone, I have to play with a lot more. That is giving me a lot of grief right now, but it is in there and we're working on it. The name of the game with a sample orchestra is to try to make it sound as human-like as possible. I don't want this to sound like computer music in the end. And that's a big challenge because it is computer music. But if we can create the illusion, we'll be good. And one of the things that helps create that illusion is percussion. I took about 5 minutes at the end of this day and added in some really quick lightning fast percussion. I added cymbals, I added some bass drum, and I added a little bit of timpani. And just to, because it just ties it together so nicely. And to be perfectly honest, it masks problems. Doesn't mean we're not going to fix the problems. We are going to fix the problems. But to add the percussion in also adds excitement. Like, when I started like doing the bass drum hits and the cymbal hits and everything, I was like, oh yes, ooh, we're making orchestral music. This is going to be fun. And that's important because I was starting to get a little bit bummed out. And when you get bummed out while working on stuff like this, it just makes it lame, you know? It's fun. It's fun to sit here in this chair and like kind of like jam out a little bit, you know? It puts me in a good mindset, and when I'm in a good mindset, I do better work. So I'm glad that I added that percussion in. And that's where we stop for the day. As I said, I hope y'all got something out of this. Tomorrow we're gonna dive right back in and continue working on this opening, expanding the orchestration and tidying up what is in here already. See you then.